Man, I watched that new Witcher Season 4 trailer and I couldn't believe it. Fans are ripping it apart. And honestly, I get it. Because after Henry Cavill left, this doesn't even feel like The Witcher anymore. And here's where the real problem starts. Because let's be honest, Henry Cavill was the soul of The Witcher. The guy wasn't just clocking in for a Netflix paycheck. He was a legit fan of the books and the games before he even joined the show. He literally said in interviews that he fought the producers to keep the story faithful to Sapkowski's world. That's rare, right? An actor caring more about the lore than the studio itself. Now, when Henry left after Season 3, the internet exploded. Fans knew exactly why it hurt because Henry was Geralt. That gravelly voice? He built it to match the video game Geralt, but also made it his own.
I want you to look at me. How do you like my eyes? Do you know, Priscilla?
The physical presence, the way he moved, fought, even the silences. That was him understanding Geralt down to the bones. He carried that weight like nobody else could. So when Netflix announced Liam Hemsworth was stepping in, people weren't just skeptical. They were already bracing for disappointment. And it's not even about Liam being a bad actor. He's done good work before. He clearly looks the part, and I'm sure he's trying. But let's be real. You don't replace Henry Cavill's Geralt like swapping batteries in a remote. The guy set the standard so high, anything that comes after feels off. And now, watching that trailer, that fear turned into reality for a lot of fans. And you can see it in the reaction numbers. Dislikes through the roof, comments filled with people saying, "No Henry, no Witcher." It's not even hatred for Liam, it's grief for losing the one thing that was holding this entire show together. Now let's talk about that trailer itself because wow, the problems hit you fast. The first thing that completely threw me off was Geralt shouting, "Let's move!"
Let's fucking move!
And I just sat there like, hold up. Since when does Geralt talk like that? That line doesn't sound like a Witcher at all. It sounds like something ripped straight out of a Marvel action scene. It's jarring, it's out of character, and it instantly breaks the mood. The way Geralt sounded, softer, almost casual, it just doesn't carry that heavy, growling weight Henry gave the role. Instead of that grounded, world-weary tone, it came off more like an ordinary guy trying to sound tough.
What a company I've ended up with.
And once you notice that, everything else in the trailer feels off. The tone of the whole thing is strange too. I mean, since when does The Witcher look and sound like a Marvel parody? You've got magic looking cheesy, sorceresses swinging swords like they're extras in an action flick. Even the music feels weirdly out of place. Instead of dark and gritty, it felt glossy. And then Netflix had the audacity to plaster that phrase across the screen. The global phenomenon returns. Really? Global phenomenon? It was a phenomenon when Henry was Geralt, sure. But now, that's not what I'm seeing. It feels less like confidence and more like corporate delusion, like they're trying to convince us of something we clearly don't buy into. At this point, it's hard not to laugh. You see Geralt looking like a knockoff version, the tone feeling like Thor. And you realize this isn't the Witcher we were promised. This is something else entirely, and not in a good way. And the deeper you watch, the more little details just start falling apart. Like the way the fights are cut, super quick edits, shaky camera moves, these over-stylized angles. It doesn't look like Geralt is in the middle of a gritty battle anymore. It looks like they're trying to hide weak choreography with flashy editing. And when you compare it to Henry's slower, heavier, grounded sword work, the difference is night and day. The costumes stood out too. Geralt's armor and wig here. Man, it looks cheaper somehow, almost like a cosplay version. Henry's Geralt looked worn in, lived in, like a man who'd been on the path for decades. This new Geralt, the wig is too clean. The armor looks fresh off the rack. It's missing that dirt and grit that made the character believable. And then there's the focus of the trailer. Did you notice how little of Geralt we actually saw? It felt like they were hiding him, cutting around him, throwing in more Yennefer and ensemble shots instead. That tells me even Netflix knows the audience isn't sold, so they're trying to soften the blow by shifting attention. But come on, if you're confident in your new Geralt, you don't hide him. You put him front and center. Another thing that really bothered me was the dialogue in general. All of it felt lighter, quippier, less serious. Instead of the heavy atmosphere The Witcher usually thrives on, the writing here feels like it's aiming for mainstream fantasy one-liners. It's like they don't trust the audience with silence and weight anymore, so they fill the gaps with awkward dialogue. And don't think I missed the big army building scenes. That's another red flag. Geralt is a lone wolf. He's a monster hunter who doesn't lead troops or rally forces. But here, it looks like they're trying to turn him into some generic fantasy commander. That completely breaks the character's core identity. Geralt isn't Aragorn, he isn't Jon Snow, he's Geralt. And the fact that they're bending him into this cliché just shows me they've lost track of what makes The Witcher unique. So by the end of it, what are we left with? A trailer that hides its lead, shows him off in a cheap costume, forces him into out-of-character lines, surrounds him with spectacle that doesn't belong, and markets it all like we should clap because it's supposedly a phenomenon. Sorry, but I'm not buying it. It's not just disappointing, it feels like the soul of the show has already been drained out before season 4 even starts. And here's the thing, because I want to be clear about this. The problem isn't really Liam Hemsworth. Look, the guy stepped into one of the hardest jobs you could imagine. Replacing Henry Cavill as Geralt is basically a no-win situation. No matter how good Liam is, fans are going to compare him to Henry. And 9 times out of 10, he's going to come up short because Henry left such a massive shadow over the role. So blaming Liam doesn't make sense. The real problem has been the same since season 2. The people writing and steering this show. Henry Cavill didn't leave because he was bored or wanted a bigger paycheck. He left because he fought tooth and nail to keep the story true to the books, and the showrunners refused to listen. He literally went on record saying he wanted to protect Sapkowski's vision, and instead, they kept drifting further into their own version of The Witcher. That's why he walked away. Not because he didn't love the character, but because the people in charge didn't love the same Witcher that the fans love. And that's why season 4 already feels like it's doomed. You can bring in Liam, you can polish the CGI, you can throw money at the sets, but if the writing is shallow, if the tone is wrong, then the heart of the show is gone. It's the same mistake we've seen in so many other franchises lately, producers thinking they know better than the fans, chasing trends instead of respecting the source material. That arrogance is what kills shows, not the actors. Honestly, the thing that frustrates me most is that Cavill's departure should have been a wake-up call. It should have been the big red alarm that told Netflix, hey, maybe the creative direction is off, maybe we need to listen to the fan base. But instead, they doubled down. They acted like it was no big deal, said Geralt was replaceable, and just moved forward like nothing happened. And now we're seeing the result, a trailer that looks and feels completely disconnected from what The Witcher was supposed to be. So no, I don't put this on Liam. He's just the face standing in front of the camera. The real blame sits with the people behind it, the ones who ignored the fans, ignored the source, and drove away the one actor who actually cared enough to fight for this franchise. So, yeah, no Henry, no Witcher. That trailer didn't feel like a comeback, it felt like a goodbye. The one thing that made this show special walked away, and everything left behind just looks like a hollow copy. And it hurts, because this could have been an amazing franchise if they actually respected what made it great in the first place. At this point, I'm calling it. Season 4 feels dead on arrival, but hey, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe somehow the full season will surprise us. What do you think? Is there still hope? Or is The Witcher finished for good? Let me know, because I'm honestly curious if anyone's still excited for this. Thanks for hanging out with me. I'll catch you in the next one.